Well, here we are again. You'll remember, those of you who have been on the project with me since the beginning, this entire corner here was nothing but splintered bits and pieces with nails holding everything together. It's since been all glued, and I'm getting ready to, I've already got the glue down on this right here. But all these pieces and parts, it was like trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Forget it. So what I did was, fortunately I had some wood. It's not quite the white color, as you can see, but we're going to fix that. Don't you worry about it. That's all under control. And what we're going to do is, I've got the glue in. I'm going to go ahead and stick this down under here like this. And we're going to put our proverbial board down there like that. And then we're just going to take this here clamp. I got a couple of clamps here. I'm just going to clamp it in place. Let me get that done. Now we just wait for it to dry. You know, we're actually running out of things to glue on this cabinet. Yes, we are. With the exception of the edging, this stuff right here. You know, you see some over here a little better. This little edging stuff is going to have to be glued down. That'll be a tedious job, but it'll get done. It's not a problem. And the wheels. The wheels are really in great shape. They work really well. They work fine. The problem is, they've been mounted to that old plywood, and a couple of spots, or a couple of the wheels back in the corners here, the wood has really gotten really bad over the years, and there's not really much you can do about it. You know, what I plan to do is to develop a whole new system for installing these wheels on. We cannot take these screws anymore and run them through these plates up into that plywood. It's just not going to work. And the plywood's just too weak and too dry rotted and wet rotted and everything else. So I'll remove as much as I can of the bad stuff. Then I'm going to take a block of wood similar to this. This is not the exact kind it'll be. And I'm going to put this, you know, I'll clean the inside down there, sandpaper it real good best I can. And we're going to glue these blocks in each corner down in there. And then we're going to run our wheels from the bottom as usual. But we're going to bore holes all the way up through the bottom of the cabinet, up through here, and then run long bolts with nuts and washers all the way through instead of these little short screws. These worked in their day, but by the way, these are replacement wheels. These were bought in some, let me see, hang on a second. Here it is right here. It was bought in some place called, come on now, Scotty's. I have no idea where Scotty's is. Oh, there we go. Well, no, the wheel is from Missouri, or Michigan rather, but it was bought at Scotty's, apparently, the wheels. They were replaced. Anyway, that's what we're going to do. We're going to put blocks on the inside, run bolts all the way up through with flat washers on the inside with lock washers, and then, of course, we won't need one down here on all four of the wheels. So that's one of our next projects. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, once the wheels are done, we're going to go ahead and mount these hinge plates in top and bottom. Now some of you have already asked me, well, how are you going to do that? Hey guys, it's not rocket science. The holes are already there. I mean, come on, they're already there on the top also. It's going to be a piece of cake, trust me. But first, we got to take care of the wheels. Before I paint the top of the chassis and get it looking real good and everything, we're going to go ahead and flip it over and work on the bottom. Now, you'll recall that one of these two ABC tubes right here, this 6BJ6, there you go. This is it had tape over it in the beginning. This one was okay. But this one had tape. After I removed the tape and everything, guess what? The tube socket is broken. See it moving? So, let's flip it over and take a look at it and find out where it's broken. I can buy these, believe it or not, on radio days for $1 a piece. Let's flip them over. Well, it appears not to be broken after all, but there is something that's really strange. Let me see if I can get the flashlight down there and show it to you. All that black stuff all the way around the edge of that tube is like a foam rubber. It appears that the foam rubber was placed between the tube socket and the chassis. It's all gone now. And now if we look over to the other side, same thing over here. See a darkened area around the tube? Now these tubes are in a spring-loaded mechanism. I've never seen anything like this before with the foam rubber around it. I'll talk to Brendan about that. But I have seen spring-loaded tubes. See it? What's happened is they're both spring-loaded. I don't know why they spring-loaded them, but I guess they figured people would push too hard or something. But this one here is also spring-loaded. Now see how this one moves just a little bit? This one over here has been overstretched, overpressed. Yeah, somebody pushed hard on it at one time and messed it up, so they put tape over it rather than fix it. But of course that missing foam might have something to do with it. See, it really rocks. Fortunately, none of the metal is broken, so I'm going to let me scope that out. I may be able to take, you know, hold it over to one side with one screwdriver and press down with the other with another, and maybe get that thing a little closer to the chassis, similar to what we have over here. Because this one, they both rock, don't get me wrong, but this one only rocks a little bit. It takes a lot of pressure. Where this one rocks a lot with just a little pressure. Let me see what I can do with that, if anything. I may have to wind up taking them both out and changing them anyway. For $1 a piece out of radio days, that's not bad. But before I do that, let me show you what I've already done. These wafer switches were, I have seen grody wafer switches, but never as bad as these were, especially down in the bottom. I was really worried about it. Well, I wasn't worried about it, but I said, oh my God, the work it's going to take to get these things clean. And so I said, I'm probably going to have to remove these things, leaving these capacitors where they're at, and all these, you know, disconnect all these wires. There's only like 4 wires connected to this mess, believe it or not. It's the, I think it's base control. From the other side, you got a switch, and then this one here, I can't remember what that one there is. I think it's a speaker selection or something. Anyway, those two, and there was another one up here in the corner that was also really, really grody. Well, son of a gun, I got out the old lacquer thinner and the old, you know, the acid brush. This one right here, if I can find it, of course. I just started cleaning and everything, and they started coming really, really nice. And the same thing with this one over here. And I was really pleased with what happened on top. And this one over here, you can see, got really, it really got clean. However, at the bottom wafer I still had to mess with. The bottom wafers were really terrible. Let me see, down in here, so I didn't know what to do. So I started spraying with my QD electronic cleaner, and just spraying and working the switch and spraying and working the switch on the, and all of a sudden I looked down in there and everything was shiny clean. I couldn't believe it. I said, how can this be happening? They were grody, filthy, nasty. Now they're all shiny clean. Everything's just great. Now before I call this thing quits, I'll of course make sure that each one of these tabs makes connection with the slider as it comes by. I'll do that for both of them. Some of them may have raised up a little bit over the years. We'll check continuity, each one. But that's what's been done so far. And now I'm going to go through and I'm going to check all the resistors. We're going to check every one of the resistors. If there's any question on any of them, or if I just don't even like the way they look, they're coming out and the new one's going to be put in. And once we get done with that, we're going to change all the capacitors. Then we'll do our painting. And who knows, maybe we can call this amplifier done. So let me get cranked up on that. I'll tell you what, you know, that's going to take a lot of work. It's going to be days of work, actually. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut this video off here. And the next video we'll pick up and I'll show you what we've accomplished. Hopefully a lot. Now this whole business about, well, put the capacitors on a capacitor checker. No, they're coming out, gone. Same thing with the bad resistors. Or anything that looks bad, smells bad, looks at me bad. I don't care. We're going to get rid of them. We want this thing to be, you know, headache free. If something goes wrong, I want to be able to say to myself, I know it's not the amplifier. Or at least the components are good. So until next time, this is John.